Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, a projector that shows off all 360 degrees of your panoramas, a wrench that helps dispense fluid, and a game controller that you attach to your airsoft gun. Plus, we have a special co-host.
Heyo!
So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find cool projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. My name is Ktdata, one half of the show. And unfortunately, Drew is buried under tons and tons of papers that he has to grade because the semester just ended for him. On there, but fear not. I went out and found yet another person who starts with the name D. But this time it is Dito. You know, longtime friend, contributed to the network. We used to and will be doing the Ktdata anime podcast together. How you doing, Dito?
Tired. That's all I can say.
On that, so first of all, let me just say welcome to the show. It's good to do a podcast with you. It's been a while now since we've done this.
It's what, almost a year since we went hiatus on Ktdata.
It's been a long time. So I'm glad that you're here. So welcome to the show. Hopefully Drew didn't leave some weird butt cracks or something in the co-hosting side, or deforming it.
Probably Drew.
All right. So for everybody who it's first time here, first of all, welcome to the show. Like I said at the top of the show, we go out and find cool projects and stuff. So before we actually go into our projects tonight, we always have some news on there. So if you have watched the show previously, we reported that Hasbro was working with Indiegogo to find the next great board game. And they wanted some kind of party game, Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens. Those are huge games right now. So Hasbro was looking for the next great game. And what they did was they allowed people to submit projects, and they got how many did they get? They got over 500 game concepts, and they narrowed it down to 5, and then they had those 5 games actually do an Indiegogo project on there, and they picked their winner. So they finally picked their winner, and the winner of it is this game. And Dito, I think you will appreciate the name of this game. It is called Irresponsibility, the Mr. Toast card game. he was the grand prize winner. He raised about $10,000 from 200 backers. And so on top of that, since he was a grand prize winner, he gets $10,000 from Hasbro plus a trip to Hasbro to go work with their game developers to make this thing into reality. So they're actually going to make this game, and Hasbro, you got the full backing of Hasbro doing this. So I don't know. Does this sound like a game that you would want to play, Dito?
If it's anything like Exploding Kittens.
So yeah, it's sort of like that. The idea is you're trying to shill off all your responsibilities to the other players, and then when they try to give you responsibilities, you just try to divert it out, and you're just like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna relax and chillax under a tree and stuff.
Sounds like my job.
On that, I think this is a great idea. Just holding contests like this and getting good ideas. What do you think? Could this be another way of doing it? Because we've had the small companies. Like we mentioned, Exploding Kitties, Cards Against Humanity. They all went through crowdfunding to get projects like this together. But what about these like big names? Your Hasbro's, your Parker Brothers. Do you think this would be a good outlet for them to hold regular contests like this?
Well, it's a good pool to pull from. So many people have great ideas that just get unnoticed. So yeah, why not?
All right. So yeah. So that was that. I'm waiting for this game to come out on there, and I think I might go get it because it seems like a fun game. All right. So our next piece of news. Have you kind of kept up with any of kind of like the virtual headsets, the VRs, like your Oculus Rift or the Samsung V or whatever that's coming out next year, or PlayStation's I forgot what they renamed it. It was Project Morpheus.
Yeah, it's like that's the only ones I'm familiar with. Been trying to follow up with that, and I know that they have the so-called first VR game that's going to come out for the new Ace Combat series.
Mm-hmm. So One of these projects back in the day, it was called Cast AR. And most people will know this because it was Jerry's Ellsworth. She's very well known in the maker community for putting things together. And when this actually came out, it was everybody who tried it said this is probably one of the best implementations of augmented reality that they had out there. So what they actually did was they went out, they did a Kickstarter project, raised about $1 million on there, and it was kind of just like the Oculus 2. They weren't promising you a finished product; you'd get a prototype on that. So what happened was they actually announced that they're delaying shipments of the prototype. So, normal Kickstarter, like, oh man, I'm gonna have to wait, right? But they also one-upped it. They're returning every single dollar of that 1 million back to all the backers. On that, and you're probably going, how are they paying for this? And in addition, if you're a backer, and there's about 3,000 of them, when the fully finished version comes out in 2017, everybody who backed it gets one of them. So you're like, wait, how are they getting money for this? So they actually just recently raised $15 million in venture money on there, and now they're saying they're going from this Kickstarter mode into like a business mode. So because they now have capital on that, but they said we don't want to forget our Kickstarter roots, so that's why we're giving you this money back, because it's going to be delayed on when it's shipping. I mean, by 2 years on there.
That sounds familiar.
But they're promising a finished product this time, because those 3,000 backers initially, it was just going to be a prototype. It wasn't even going to be the finished thing. So they're like, hey, we appreciate you guys, so we're gonna give you back some of this money on here, but we're promised that we're gonna make something kick ass. Do you kind of just wish that a lot of other like projects would do this on there? It probably did help that they got enough, crowd swell that they got venture money. They got investors in the company.
From that, yeah. We see a lot of Kickstarters that don't really make it. They get enough to start something, but not enough to where business can take place. So that's good to hear that they went from this little idea prototype to now a full-blown business. That's great, in my opinion.
I mean, if you were a backer, would you feel bad if it got delayed by 2 years, but you're getting your money back and you're getting a copy of the thing?
No, I mean, well, I've experienced that once, and if they promise it, I'm going, okay, I can wait.
Yeah, so I love this idea, and it's crazy that they're actually giving back $1 million of it. So now they only have $14 million to work with. But like I said, Jerry Ellsworth, she is very well known in the world of makers and like people who put things together. So I'm really excited, and I honestly can't wait to see the finished product of it, because everybody who said it, they're like, this is amazing. It feels natural. You don't have some of the problems that you run into with other things. So I'm kind of excited to see that, and I'm glad that it will be around to become an actual product.
I want to test it just to see if I get like motion sickness like I do in most of the others.
So that's the crazy thing. Like most, even people who say that they normally get motion sickness with the Oculus and stuff, they said when they tried this, they didn't have any problems with it. So, and the other things is that Cast AR, there's rumors that this was supposed to be the Valve headset, because they did hire Jerry Ellsworth for a couple of years. And then when they decided to go in a different direction, she took that they allowed her to take that technology and develop this Cast AR. So, a little history behind that. And so there's kind of been a theme in our news today of just kind of products coming together and stuff. So one of the things we like to cover in the show is finding new crowdfunding platforms and, talking to people, because how many crowdfunding platforms have you heard of? Indiegogo, Kickstarter, right? Those are the two big ones on there. So we love finding new ones, and this one is kind of an interesting one. So the site is actually called Crowd Supply, and not only are they a platform for crowdfunding projects, they take it one step higher. They actually provide services for every single part of the process. So that includes, from your strategy, your marketing, your fulfillment, your sales. They do all of it, or they can offer you to do all of it. And since they're a team who's focused mostly on products on there, they have experience of shipping products and everything. If you want to actually post this on this, you actually have to submit the idea, and they actually vet it before they go through, and they only pick a handful of them. They have a 100% success rate. And about 50% of the projects that are on here meet or exceed their goal. They do some really creative things, like they stagger the delivery dates. So say like this keyboard right here, you could get it, but if you're the first 10, you may be able to get it earlier than somebody else on there, than somebody who waits until the end of the project to do that. So that's what I found. This is really interesting because you go to Kickstarter and Indiegogo, they're like, yeah, sure, throw it on whenever you want. But these guys cover end to end from idea to delivery. They can do it, or they have the expertise to do it. And they have some really cool projects on here that you can go through and see. Do you think that there's, because you've seen a lot of projects. I mean, even the project that's on your head right now. Do you think they would benefit with something like Crowd Supply, who actually knows how to manufacture stuff? They know how to deliver stuff. They know how to get everything done.
Oh yeah, this is a great idea. I mean, what is some of the biggest problems we've seen in Kickstarter right now? Usually delivery, shipping, product management, advertising, stuff like that. A lot of them don't take into account, and once they got their project funded, they run into that one head on. So why not get your bases covered and have someone do it for you?
Yeah, and I love it too, because these guys, since they've been working in the industry and actually have made products and stuff, they actually have partners. So say you're like, okay, we want to make this little thing that's, we only think 100 people is going to do, right? And then all of a sudden it blows up and you get like 1 million people who want it on there. Crowd Supply actually has the connections to manufacturers that they could scale to that level. And even if there's delays and stuff, they work so closely with some of these manufacturers, it's not delayed like too far off. They can make it work somehow on there. So that, I think this is a great idea. It's more focused on physical products. Like you're not going to find like a film project or anything on there, but I think it's a good idea, and their track record speaks for itself. 100% success rate. Can't get better than that, right?
I wish my vendors would be like that.
All right, Dito. So now we're going to go into our projects of the night. So our first project, I know you like to do some photography on the side, Dito. Have you ever tried to delve? And I don't know if you've seen a lot of these, but I've seen a lot of these come up. A lot of those 360-degree cameras or systems that are coming out, right, where you can have this like panorama and stuff. So my problem with that is, sure, you can film in 360, but then you got to go to the like website, or you got to like, I know a lot of them where you just take your phone and then you can get the Google Cardboard, and then you make your own kind of like VR headset, and when you turn around, it actually moves the picture and stuff like that. But I'm like, well, that's kind of a one-on-one experience, right? You can't really be like, oh, look at this corner right here, because you're the only one seeing the screen. So this is really interesting. Is our first project of the night is called the 360 Mini, and it is a 360-degree projector.
I was thinking like a mini Xbox.
Well, what's great about it is it kind of reminds me of those like lava lamps on there. So it projects the image around this little tube thing, and then you can actually walk around the tube and see your image in 3D. So it's not like when you're just wearing a headset. So I think this is kind of cool. It's 3 feet. This picture makes it look like it's smaller than that, but that's actually a 3-foot projector, and it has a computer inside that can store pictures and videos in it, or you just hook on it. It hooks up to your Wi-Fi network, and then you control it using an app on your phone. So you can play, pause, change the picture and stuff. And so that's, I think it's kind of pretty cool. And so what's great about it is, or I think is great, is because I could be in a room like, hey, Dito, check out this picture that I took on the Salt Flats or something, even though Salt Flats.
Why would you go there?
On there, and I could point out, hey, check out, you see right here, there's like a nitro circus or something going around, and you could actually see it, and instead of just like, hey, Dito, check out this picture and see if you can find the nitro circus, right?
Right there.
Because I mean, you and I have had these conversations before. I'm like, hey, dude, check out this picture, and did you see the thing? And you're like, what? I'm like, it's right there, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Circle it, mark it, do something.
Yeah. on there. I don't know. So do you think this is a good idea, or should we just keep sticking with like these weird websites and stuff?
It has its applications. I mean, it's not really practical. I mean, this is more of like a business aspect or a presentation aspect, but there could be some consumer use to it, and it's just kind of niche.
And what's great is they'll be at CES, so we can go see this firsthand.
Dun dun dun.
All right, so Tito, one of the things we do on this show is we do a back, track, or sack on that. So if you were to rate this, what would you give it, a back? Would you give it a track, or would you give it a sack?
I track.
On that, is it something that you're like, it's cool, but I don't know if I'd use it or not?
Exactly. I mean,
On that, especially at let's see, how much is one of these? $196.
that's not bad for the price, but why I would only track
Actually,
is
that's actually no. You donate your version to a museum. $978 is.
Oh. Well, do you want to take my left or right leg?
Kidneys, man, kidneys.
You can have my left testicle, and I still get another 34,000. Anyways, as I said, it's one I would only track just because I would only find use in like a diorama setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do them too often.
Oh, just think about it. We could like do it of your room, and people could have like a 360 tour of your room.
No. That's a terrible idea. We should no.
No, never.
Why am also reminded of like Iron Man? Like in his brain. That's just also I'm reminded of.
We could map the inside of Iron Man's brain.
Another news.
All right. So for our next project, this is an interesting one because I thought it looked cool, but I don't know how to fix cars. If only I knew someone who knew how to work on cars and kind of did it for a job. Who would that be?
Don't look at me.
On that. So, our next project, it's called the Lube Wrench Fluid Dispenser on this. And I just thought this was cool. So what it is it's a fluid dispenser that instead of having its own like container thing where you pour whatever you want to dispense into, it actually connects straight to your your motor oil, your 5W20, or I don't know what other fluids there are, your transmission fluid or
gear oil.
Yeah, your gear oil and stuff. So you hook that up, and then I think you hook it up to an air compressor.
Yeah,
on there, and then
it just dispenses it.
It pumps it into wherever you need it to be, which I think is cool. And the guy was smart because everybody's seen kind of the auto store where there's like 3 gazillion types of bottles, right? And all the caps are slightly different and stuff. He actually made adapters so you can actually fit it on most of these standard bottles, to kind of fill up on there. Which I think is really cool. And he's so it's obviously not for me because I don't even change my own oil on there. But Dito, you work in a service center on there. Do you see this as something that you would use
for my shop? Yeah. When I was actually looking through this, the idea is actually really, really good. I mean, if you have a vehicle in the air and you need to do the gear oil in the transfer case or something like that, and you're just pumping it in using the bottle it comes with, you can get mess. It can get, because gear oil is sticky. It's thick and sticky. Yeah. You'll get it on yourself, get it on the floor, then you do cleanup. I mean, the way he presented it makes a lot of sense. You just hook your air compressor up to it, put it in there, put it in the bottle, and it can be its own bottle. There's no dumping into something else and risking more of a mess. It's just pop it in, pop the plug in, or pop the hose in, hit the valve, and it pumps it in.
Yeah, because most shops are going to have some kind of air compressor already, right?
Some. Traditional shops will have an air compressor or an air system set up for their ratchets and everything, torque sticks and everything. But at home, I mean, you can go to like Harbor Freight and get yourself an air compressor that could possibly do it too. But unless if you're running something like that too, then yeah, it's a great idea. But if you're not, it's not hard to get an air compressor.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, I never knew about this, but do you run into that problem where you're trying to fill something up and then the bottle, you need like 2 bottles to fill up the whole thing, and then like, because he's using like old fruit juice containers to like pour all of it in there, so he doesn't have to like switch between bottles while he's filling something up. Do you run into that, or?
Yeah. Usually it runs into when you're doing specifically motor oil because you can measure it out. I mean, some engines only take like 5.2, some will take 6.3. The bigger ones would take like 12.75. I mean, when you're just dumping oil in itself, I mean, you can measure it out begin with, and if you don't have a fancy hose or one of the dispenser, like the dispenser,
the little plug thing that you see in like oil shops.
Yeah, if you don't have any of those, it's actually measured out precisely itself. This is the next best option for your backyard garage or backyard mechanics.
Sweet. So so this is where I have no idea. In terms of price, $200, is that like comparable to other systems, or I have no idea at all?
So if you're thinking about like an air tool, $200 is a pretty going rate. I mean, like a ratchet or just an air gun alone can go between like $200 to $500. Well, it depends on what make too. Like Snap-on ones, like traditional just air gun stuff, are about $240.
Holy crap on there. So, so this is probably good because I mean, let's see what you get. All the adapters, you get 2 17.25-inch long dispensing tubes that you can put in and suck up your oil. And like you're saying, what was it that's sticky? The
gear oil.
The gear oil. He gives you 2 different tubes just for that specific task, where it's like, okay, you use one for your gear oil and then you can use the other one for everything else, so that way you don't contaminate stuff and you don't have to worry about cleaning it, because according to you, it's probably a pain to try and get all of it out of like a tiny little tube.
Well, yes and no. I mean, purple power does wonders.
On there, and so he gives you that, and then he gives you even a storage case and stuff, which is always handy, right? You don't want to just leave something like this out.
Tell that the mechanics I work with.
So this was smart because I was looking through his backing tiers on there. For the first 10 people, you could pledge $2 and you would get one of these. Like for $2, would you not grab one of these?
Yeah. I mean, if I had the ability to pass this along to my leads and everything and just show them this, they some of the mechanics would actually like it. But for $2, I would do it for myself. I mean, I do a lot of oil changes for myself, for my friends, and having to do all that, not having to, look for a funnel and all that stuff too. Be like, hey, psst, you're good.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I mean, that's such a great idea. Is like, because normally he's doing 200 and about, I think retail's 250 is what he's aiming for. So it's probably 250, 300 on there. It's such a great idea because you get those first 10, and obviously those first 10 people probably know what they're talking about, right? It's not like me where I'm like, this looks cool, but on there. But those 10 are probably going to be super excited about it, and they'll tell their friends about it. And it only, helps his advertising, right?
And I think it's also a great gift for like that backyard mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, so that's great. So would this be a backtrack or sack for you?
Oh, this would definitely be a back.
Oh, it's a back to me because I'm like, this looks really cool. I have like I said, I have no expertise in this area, but I think it's great. And it seems like he put a lot of thought into building it too, because he made sure the parts are durable. He's tried to account for every kind of different situation you may run into with all these fluids and stuff. And I think he even gives you for Kickstarter, a 3-year warranty on this to make sure if anything goes wrong, they'll fix it on that. All right. So for our last normal project of the night, Dito, I know you like playing video games.
Huh? Who's that? What's a video game?
Lies. I also know that you have have a good amount of expertise in airsoft guns too.
Just a little.
Just a little. So our last project on the night is called Railgun, and no, it's not an actual railgun. This is actually a controller that you can actually strap onto one of your airsoft guns to give you a more realistic experience when you're playing first-person shooters on your PC or on your console. So kind of think of the Wiimote, except strapped to your airsoft gun. What's cool about it is there's 5 different parts. One of them actually you strap onto your next to the trigger on there, and then there's 3 other parts that actually they designed it so it slides onto the existing rails on your airsoft gun.
You're not helping me with this. You're just saying strap on and just slide on the rod. It's like, dude.
On there, so you hook it up to your airsoft gun, and it actually can detect, if I remember, from 180 degrees or 360 degrees, even if you're not pointing on the screen. Because I mean, we've all used the Wiimote before, right? And you point it off the screen, and all of a sudden it stops working, right? This actually can detect the full thing. I don't think it uses any like external sensors like the Wii does, so you don't have to have a Wiimote bar or whatever on there. So you can actually pull the trigger on the airsoft gun, and it taps this button that's right behind it, and that actually fires in the game. So they claim that it works with PC, and it also works with Xbox One and PS4, and I think PS3 and 360 also. But let me tell you, there's a caveat for the console owners. You actually have to buy another adapter that's $60 that they don't make. It's somebody else to make it work on top of this.
Of course.
But they say it's, plug and play on the PC, that you can actually control your sensitivity and stuff when playing the game on there. And I think it lasts 9 hours when you charge it, and it charges via USB. I don't know, Dito. Is this something that you think you would want to use when you're playing first-person shooters? I know you play a lot more RPGs, but when you have a hankering for Call of Duty, does this seem like something you'd want to use?
So, when you say Call of Duty and strapping all these sensors onto an airsoft gun and running around doing this itself, I'm foreseeing these like 12-year-olds getting it and then not taking out the batteries, leaving a full set of BBs in themselves and shooting their TV.
I didn't even think about that. That just
even worse. And that's the thing too. Is like, okay, the Wiimote, throwing your Wiimote into the TV is pretty bad. Shooting it with a barrage of BBs. I mean, it's a great concept and everything, but the only like the functional side of it itself, yeah, I can see it being lacking just because of that. But concept, awesome. Would I do it? Sure, but it's all aesthetic. I personally think it's all aesthetic.
You don't think it's gonna make you leap kills and
So if we were doing it at a big room, yes, it would be like diving over couches and like, yes, then yeah, that would be it. But if I'm going that far, I'm just gonna shoot you with my airsoft guns.
You're like, I don't need this virtual thing. I'm just gonna, get you with that.
I love to see them use on their paintball guns and do the same thing and shoot their screen with a paintball.
Yeah, D-Max says, will it help with his hand-eye coordination? No, you still got to aim on there. And I might be old school, but keyboard and mouse is my preferred method.
And there's just no way you could take this whole segment without taking it dirty. You just can't. No.
All right. So is this one a backtrack or sack for you?
I track it. I mean, concept's cool, but if people weren't stupid, honestly, if people weren't stupid, then yeah.
For me, I think it. For me, I'd probably say track too. I think it's smart that instead of saying, "Hey, we're gonna 3M tape something to your airsoft gun," we're gonna use the existing rails that are on them, right?
What do you think their prototype probably was?
uh, because I mean, you have some airsoft guns that cost a pretty penny, so you don't want to like just throw some weird adhesive on it, right?
Well, yeah, it's like my custom G36. Yeah, that thing I completely built from the boneyard.
Yeah. It was actually borderline for me to back, but then when I found out that you had to buy yet another adapter to make this work, made me go, I don't know. On there where it's like, yeah, it seems like a good idea, but when I'm spending like 4 times as much as the video game to play it, I think that's my threshold.
Yeah, I mean, if you're that serious FPS first person, Call of Duty fanboy or whatever, heaven forbid I combine them all to one. But
Oh,
if you're an
dear.
FPS fanboy, I could see them. I mean, I honestly could see them having a blast with this.
On there. So, so that is the railgun. All right, Dito. So this is, I don't know if you enjoy this or not, but this is what we call the sack of the week. And the reason we actually invented this section is because hardly would Drew and I ever sack a project because there's just so many good ones out there. It's like, why are we wasting our time with crappy ones? So we purposely feature this. Are you big into sneakers?
Only my cousin and brother.
So I'll admit, back in the day, I delved into the world of sneaker collecting. Your Jordans and everything, but I'm a little out of it. So I actually had to research this. So our sack of the week is a project called "Help Me Get Yeezys Fam."
Repeat that. What?
Help me get Yeezys fam. So I actually had to look these up. Yeezys are Kanye West's like sneakers that he's coming out with.
Okay, you could just say that and it's done. You say Kanye West and that's just like
Yeah. So no, this is some guy who's put up a Indiegogo page so he can raise enough money to go buy these Kanye West sneakers.
You're trying to make me choke.
But what's great about this is one of the things we like to feature on these sacks of the weeks is what they did wrong. First of all, there's no video on there, and like he's like, help a brother get some flame. I don't even know what does that even mean.
What was that?
Am I just old where I don't
No.
understand what the young kids mean? But
No,
what does that mean?
It was just this. Recently, I heard of a term like I know it begins with an F and everything, so but it's supposed to be like for their eyebrows. It's supposed to be like
fleek.
eyebrows on point.
Fleek.
Yeah.
And your eyebrows on fleek.
Yeah, I'm like, the hell is fleek? And I actually had to look it up. I literally put it in there. I literally Google search this, and
eyebrows on fleek.
I linked a video of some lady, some black lady, saying that if you hear my eyebrows on fleek, I'm like, fleek. And I had to research exactly what it means on point, and it's like, how they get fleek from on point.
Oh,
like, what, you want your feet in fire?
Yeah, so you're gonna love the rest of this description on there. So under short summary, man wants some Yeezys. All I got is the best. All I got is beat up Airwalks and some Tesco sandals. So I know what Tesco is. It's like a convenience store in the UK because he lives in the UK, Manchester. Yeah, on that. So under what we need, I need 150 pounds to buy some Yeezy 350s in Oxford's tan for retail on release day on the 29th of December. And I love this. Under the impact. Yeah, boy may get some ton.
I almost wish you had my face.
I think I broke you. Did I break you?
It's just like ton. So are they talking about snoo?
I'm guessing. Under risks and challenges, may miss the bus on the way to the shop. Other ways you can help? Send me some so I don't have to go out and buy them. And that's all there is to it. Does this compel you to help him save up to his $500 that he needs to buy these sneakers?
So I have actually followed a couple people who wanted free handouts, basically. Cameras, taking trips and all stuff too. And one of them, a person I know on Facebook, part of the anime groups I'm a part of, I kind of helped him out, saying that okay, if you're going to do a documentary on going to Japan and you want people
Oh,
to back you,
dude, is he a black anime?
yes,
Dude, I found his Kickstarter project and I just like slapped my head against the wall when I saw it.
yes, and I actually I critiqued him on what to do, but I'm just gonna go like,
Dude,
dude, unless you have on Indiegogo
that was
or
borderline the sack
Kickstarter,
of the week.
yeah. If you had to put that on there, stuff,
Oh,
I would
where
have
is it?
I would have laughed my ass off. But this one right
Oh, I
here,
gotta
like,
find it. I cut it out somewhere. Oh
yeah,
man.
I actually went and spent time, put a paragraph, two paragraphs actually, and just told him like, all right, first off, go to GoFundMe opposed to using Indiegogo or Kickstarter because those are projects for stuff that is going to be consumer based or trying to get something off the ground.
This dude,
You, on the
right?
other hand, are just basically saying, pay for my stuff, and you showed no critique with video editing or anything like that.
Oh,
So,
he's done it twice too?
oh my God.
It's because like one just barely ended on the 18th, and this is the second one on there. Oh man. Like, no, I kid you not. This was like, you can look in the show notes. So scroll down all the way to the bottom of the show notes under cuts, and it's the one that says Utah Project, but Psy.
Project, okay.
So he wants $5,200 to go make a documentary of his visit to Japan.
And okay, so concept. Okay, we can see the concept behind it because like any other anime fan wants to go there and experience it. Of course, I can't condone that. But his presentation of
It's
it is where,
bad.
yeah, that is terrible.
He's got this shot where you're pretty much looking up his nose
And
on there, and so here I'll break it down to you on a Kickstarter level. So first of all, this video 7 minutes. I got bored after the first 30 seconds on that. Second of all, in his video, because I watched more than that, he doesn't know what he's doing with the extra money.
Nope.
On there. Third of all, you look at his pledges on there. He only has one level.
Yeah.
Thanks in the video. There's no way you can even get this documentary on there,
yeah.
or like say it's going to be, I'll make a DVD or something.
Yeah. Put in their like credits. You obviously going to be in the credits, of course. For funding, for helping to fund it. You're going to get a copy of the video. Not just you can watch it on YouTube. Like,
break down what he's actually buying on there. Like I heard he's going to buy a GoPro and an expensive camera. I'm sorry, at $5,200, as a person who knows expensive cameras, that's not enough.
I mean, not even. He says he's not going to be using any of the money to fund his ticket or his hotels. It's all for being there.
Yeah, and if he's going to hire a crew or an editor, $5,000, that's barely going to cover an editor if he wants to get an editor.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where he...
And on top of that, too, it's like, okay, you got to convince these people. You can't just talk your way yourself and trying to use your charisma of, you're going to have to show that you, like either you or people, editors are going to be able to show you can produce a good visual work. He didn't even do that. I mean, like we all seen KT's edits. I mean, he knows his stuff. I mean, if you put something up like this too, I
don't need no Kickstarter to document my trip to Japan.
no, you don't. But if you did something like this too, your video will show like if anyone knows about video editing or video photography or video anything, would be able to see that, okay, this guy knows what he's doing for the most part. Maybe this will turn out good. At least have some positive reassurance opposed to this one's like,
yeah, show some examples of what you can film. Because honestly, the two types of projects that bug me the most are like help me make this albums who don't have samples of their music on their website or on their Kickstarter project, and people who want to make movies but don't have a sample of what kind of movie they can make. It's like, how are you gonna make people trust you if you don't do that?
Reminds us that one Kickstarter you funded for the Dragon Ball one.
That was the early days, man. Early days.
Which never happened.
I think we helped pay someone's rent.
I think we did
on that. All right, so that, Tito, is a full episode of the KickCast on there. So if you guys have any suggestions for Sacks of the Week, regular projects, news items, send them our way, kickcast@ktdata.net, or you can shoot a message to us or post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast, or you can tweet us. You can tweet Drew at Night20 or Dito at Ahoy Baby. He'll forward it to me probably, or at Ktdata for myself, at KickCast for the show on there. And of course, we always love it when you watch live on there. So I appreciate when D-Max and GQ Visions, they're in the chat room. Always love it when you guys watch live. Our next episode that we're recording live, so keep note, normally we do it every 2 weeks. Our next one's going to be January 19th, 2015. And that is because
16.
the 19th.
2016.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah. New year. Yeah, we're going to make you go back in time to go watch our new episodes.
It will be the first time.
Yeah, so and that is because the week that we're normally recording the KickCast, Tito and I think Drew too, will be in Las Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show. And as usually our yearly thing, we'll go find out some cool projects. Maybe we'll go see the 360 Mini, and maybe Tito will come back a changed man and believe in it. I don't know.
Maybe. That's a tall order.
If that's the only thing that will change you when you go to Vegas, right?
Well, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, or ends up on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, and if you want to see any of these projects that we talked about, head on over to kickcast.net, look in the show notes. We'll have links to all of them. Dito, you got anything to plug? Cool stuff and things you want to show, have people follow you and show off things? Make sure you guys actually go to ktdata.net for an excellent review that Dito did of those headphones that you're wearing right now.
Yeah, and also we'll be seeing some more of the models that I'll be building, Gundam models from Utah Gundam, and you can follow them at Facebook groups/Utah Gundam, and you can see a lot of the stuff that my group is doing.
Cool stuff. I mean, you guys strapped models to water rockets, right?
Well, yep. We did a barbecue with our build blast off, where we took about 16 built kits that day and strapped them to a 2-liter water bottle and fired them off.
Oh man, if I didn't have a Dice Masters tournament that day, I would have so gone and watched that. That just looked so much fun, just looking at the videos. And I got to make fun of you a little bit, because on a couple of those I thought it was kind of hilarious. You're like running for your life to make sure you're not getting hit when it launched.
Oh, the parts flew everywhere. There's people looking for parts for all night, but the best ones when we strapped a whole a unbuilt kit box to the water bottle. It got up 3 feet.
So make sure you guys check that out. Tito, thank you so much for filling in for Drew. I appreciate it, dude. And I'm gonna see you in the flesh space pretty soon.
2 weeks.
Yep. All right, guys. Until next time, we will see you.